Hello, guys. How are you doing? I thought we could go over some old school, earlier first within the first year of her missing Summer Wells videos, just random ones. Hey, Jerry. I was trying to figure out how to search on YouTube, like filter it from like 2021 or 20. There's no option. Like the only way you can, search filters this year, this month, this week, today, last hour. You can do upload date, but you will do the most recent ones. I want the oldest ones. I want it to do the other way around. So I'm kind of annoyed you can't search a certain upload date, like 2021 or whatever. So I searched Summer Wells 2021. But yeah, I was hoping to search between the summer of 2021 and the summer of 2022. So we could kind of see, it will help us see what certain people were saying back then compared to what we have heard recently. So yeah, I know a lot of people are live right now, so but I didn't want to wait too much longer. Look at this, guys. Look at this, how cool this ornament looks. Well, you can't even, I made that. And on this side, I'm going to put, there's a place I'm going to put, it could have a picture. I'm going to put a picture there. And then on this side, I could do the same thing. If I wanted to, I could cover that. But
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
I've been seeing you forever, but not hearing nothing. It might just be me.
Huh.
I've been seeing you forever.
Yeah, you're here. I'm not muted.
Yeah, it must be just me,
man. You worried me though there for a second because I was having troubles. But yeah, this ended up turning out good. Must be your earbuds. I was just talking about how I was gonna go over some older videos here, and I don't see why they don't have an option to filter out, old videos. Or, filter so you can do search just 2021. Thank you, Katie. Jerry's a wiener. Sue's a wiener. The second wiener. Fred's the third wiener. Huh?
I had to go out and come back in.
Oh, okay. So we'll just start. We're going to watch stuff, and I guess random stuff here I've searched. I don't know.
The Wells family lives across the street from a neighboring property. On mirroring mountains, together they can be described as sentinels, which sit high over Ben Hill Road. The night Summer went missing, the neighbor swears that she and her two children heard a scream shortly before they joined the search for a now missing Summer Wells.
It's there, but you want to forget.
On the watch and hypervigilant. That's how Jody Sue Brown was the very day Summer Wells went missing.
There's no TV, no noise at all.
Jody Sue was in her cabin with her teenage kids, 19 and 14, waiting for anything.
19 and 14. This was November 11th, 2021. Wow, 11/11. Interesting. 1111. So this is Miss Jody Sue Brown.
Because of property things that had happened the day before. So we were listening for noise. Everything was kind of quiet.
The sale brought a plethora of people to their door, confused about which piece of land was for sale, leading to a dispute of property lines.
Hey,
Well, we
Diana.
were out at one point doing survey lines, and there was a flash of a car that went up Candace and Donnie's driveway. Something about it struck me wrong.
She and her family next heard a truck door slamming and dismissed it as their neighbors. The next sound was harder to justify. About an hour and a half before Summer is thought to go missing, Jody Sue, her son, and her daughter heard something far more suspicious. A scream.
Stopped all three of us cold.
Her daughter was the first to go to the cabin door. Then all three were there, listening still.
We heard just this kind of shrill, almost animalistic scream.
Isn't that weird?
But not an animal.
Isn't that weird how they both describe it as animalistic? Didn't she describe it animalistic too? That's an odd description, animalistic. But they both talk odd. I mean, she's got this odd vocabulary. I don't understand animalistic scream. What the hell?
Knew it was, wrong. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't an animal.
That vigilant.
I don't know. This is just kind of, to me, feeling like let's start some confusion. Like she's like trying to put out some bunch of confusion.
It's kicking into overdrive. Jody Sue and her son went out to look for the source of the scream.
My son and I decided to go out, look and see what we could see. We went back onto the bank. Didn't see anything. Didn't hear anything.
She said her son and her.
Kids returned to being kids.
She said her son and her went and looked around after she heard the scream.
Headed down her driveway around 6 to tend to flowers.
And at this point, I start
To
hearing
tend to flowers. And then she just, oh, yeah, sure.
hollering for Summer. And then my brain immediately went, scream earlier, this, uh-oh.
Jody Sue was the first to hear those calls and the first to join the search for Summer.
I dropped my purse. I tried to yell up at Candace. I was like, I'm looking, and I started looking.
Jody Sue searched one side of a creek, Summer's brothers the opposite side.
And you gave statements to the police, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Jody
Oh,
Sue
absolutely.
times by investigators, bringing up the scream often. But the sheriff doesn't believe the scream is related to the disappearance of Summer Wells.
She's been interviewed numerous times by not only my agency, but the TBI, not only my agency, but not only she's been.
I'm just looking at all vehicles I see nowadays.
Not only my agency, but the TBI and the FBI, and we don't find anything with that complaint or information related to this case.
Jody Sue wishes she could go back to just a short time before Summer disappeared and before the scream she believes was Summer.
Wish every day that when I heard that scream, I hadn't tried to dismiss it.
Referencing the work of the FBI, TBI, and his own deputies, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson reiterated in an interview the same week as Jody Sue's that investigators have found absolutely no proof that an abduction has taken place. In the Beach Creek community, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
Yeah, that's why I went back to that truck and rewound to that truck, because it looked like it's similar to a color that we're talking about, but it's not the truck. That's a Ford right there. But that color is very, very similar to what Fred's talking about, as far as the truck that he saw in the hauler. But the one he saw it was not a Ford. It was a GMC. Are you sure it was a Canyon? Are you sure? Or it was just something like that? She thinks a GMC Canyon, but I wouldn't rule out anything that looks very, very similar to a GMC Canyon. Very, very dark windows. No back seat like that one has on the screen. You
The
can,
paint job was real.
yeah, the
real
paint
nice.
job was real nice.
The whole truck was real nice. Really.
The whole truck was really good. Like, look new, but it's an older model, like 2007, 8, something like that.
Yeah.
So I thought we would just look through these, see what we can. So
She did write this statement.
this is still within the first year, so we can watch this. We're watching all within the first year of Summer Missing. Not all of them, but that's what I'm trying to focus on. Grandmother of Summer Wells speaks on camera for the first time. This was March 1st of 2022. WGHL.
Story at 6, day 2, and a planned search for missing 6-year-old Summer Wells is now over.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said teams scaled previously identified points of interest in Hawkins County. The agency says much of the area where Summer disappeared requires extra time to search thoroughly. They say it's extremely steep and dangerous. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniels spoke with Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, the lead investigator in the case.
Yeah, Ansley, the sheriff told you today that Summer's family now currently is not cooperating with law enforcement?
That's exactly right, Josh and Sarah. He also told me that the family has attorneys. Now, he did tell me that he didn't want to speak any further on the matter, but I did have the chance to speak with Summer Wells' mother and grandmother at the home where she disappeared earlier today. And her grandmother told me that she wanted to address the sheriff's comments about them not cooperating, as well as whether or not they have an attorney. And this was the first time that we have spoken with her on camera since her granddaughter went missing.
Nervous.
Mr. Lawson stated that Candace and the whole family is lawyered up. I can't speak for Donnie, and I know Candace hasn't because she's told me she hasn't, and I have not. If law enforcement wants to talk to me, TBI wants to talk to me, they have my phone number. They know when I leave the state. They know when I'm here.
Summer Wells' grandmother, Candace Hare, says she hasn't spoken with law enforcement since December 13th.
They have not contacted me since the YouTubers were down here in the driveway. And we asked them about trespassing.
Summer's grandma was with her granddaughter all day on June 15th, the day she disappeared. She walked me through what they did that day and said she and Summer were repotting cactus plants outside of her camper. And then
Summer came in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went.
Peppermint's her favorite. Okay.
And she said, Mama, I want to go play with the boys. Candy walked her back to the house, and she asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
As the 9-month mark of when her granddaughter was reported missing approaches, she says the social media and online rumors have to stop.
If they want to help, that's great. But if they want to spread lies, that's a different story. Because that's all they're doing now is spreading lies. They're reaching and trying to figure out what lie can we spread now. And I'm tired of it.
Now, Summer's mother, Candace Bly, did not want to go on camera. However, she did write this statement for us on my notepad. You see it right there on your screen as well. It says, I've never stopped talking to law enforcement. No, I have not lawyered up. I don't understand why this is being said. I can't speak for Dawn, and we are willing to do whatever to bring our daughter Summer home. Thanks for all the searchers. Now, she also did not want to address her new YouTube channel, Dr. Phil, or anything other than the comments by the sheriff made earlier today. However, she and her mother, Summer's grandmother, wanted me to reiterate how thankful they were for the searchers who are still out looking for Summer, as well as law enforcement for still keeping this investigation open and fresh. Live in Beach Creek, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
Ansley, thank you. March 15th will mark 9 months since family members say they last saw Summer in the Beach Creek community at their home. The TBI statewide Amber Alert for Summer remains active tonight. They're waiting for calls with credible information to 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Mm-hmm.
New tonight, we're speaking with a mother of a missing Hawkins
February
County girl.
2nd.
The first.
Wait, this one's not within. That one's not within my timeline.
A lot.
This is like, okay, so this is one of the ones you probably seen the most of because it's the very first interview, I believe. But this interview makes me feel even more strongly that maybe Candace at first didn't know exactly what happened. Because the way she looked at Don during certain things he would say, he kept his arm behind her. I feel like, I guarantee he was probably like, they had little signals back and forth to each other, especially him, tapping her on the back or who knows. I don't think I'd want Granny getting mad at me. She looks mean. Yeah. Let's see.
Away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are around here. Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up.
Why don't you clear it up for us, Don?
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently.
Really? Candace, you've never seen Jody Sue's mom's truck before? Okay. But I don't know why. I wish they put a lookout for this other truck, though. But yeah, like, oh, she just goes down to the basement and she's gone within 2 minutes. Yeah, that sounds so likely, Candace. And she's totally right here on benzos or something. She's very messed up. But you know what? If my daughter was missing, though, I'm sure I would be messed up too. But I still don't. Their behavior is not right, obviously. I would not call them adults because maturely wise they were teenagers. She always looks out to the side of her face. If she knew what might have been going on, I don't know why she did nothing to help. Well, it's very, I don't know. The lifestyle is very ingrained in her. She grew up and I think it sounds like very, there was a lot of not good things going on around her. I mean, she had her uncle, her mom's brother, who was one of the most dangerous, sex offenders in the area. And then come to find out, we hear that Grandis has some kind of sealed records, and was allegedly not allowed to be around children. Supposedly, from what I hear from somebody who was really close to Candace for a long time, Candace claimed that she didn't want anything to do with her mom, that she had just started talking to her mother right before Summer went missing again because of some kind of essay and stuff that happened. Just some kind of abuse that happened as a child and stuff that Candace went through. I heard that she wouldn't have anything to do with her mom for the longest time. And right before Summer went missing is allegedly when she started allowing her to come around a little bit. But from what it seems, I don't believe that Candace Hare, the grandmother, was allowed to be there because it seems like she had some kind of ban from being around children. Because you remember also something that even backs that up, she wasn't allowed to talk on the phone to her grandkids or anything. Some people just thought, oh, it was the choice of the mother, like when Grandis wasn't allowed around her grandkids from Jeannie. I think it's, Jeannie. But no, I think there's more to it. But Rhiannon, from what I hear, like Grandis is just as bad as her brother. Seriously. Like, which is horrible to even think. Definite generational stuff.
They would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, they at least come forward and say what you've seen. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
I never saw it.
Shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I knew.
Yeah, Rhiannon, even Josh.
I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else.
He's so sorry because he feels responsible, in my opinion. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're having to, be out in these woods looking for my daughter. But no, there was never a CPS report. That's just another lie that the haters put out there and spread. It was actually a woman who claimed to had some kind of training, some kind of training done for some kind of work class, or what's it called? Like an internship, like an intern or something, or some kind of class. She said she had hers at Hawkins County, like some kind of internship with CPS or whatever. I don't know, something like that. I never saw any actual documents. It was a woman who claimed to have seen this stuff firsthand, and everything she sent me was stuff that hearsay from her. I never saw proof that she was who she said she was. She was in a Facebook group. I found her in a Facebook group before I even had a channel. She was commenting on things in a Summer Wells group, and she just seemed like she knew what she was talking about. So I reached out to her because I was curious about some things that she was saying, and I think it was about forget. She was talking about something. Is either Dawn Wells or I think it was. There's something she seemed to know that, seemed to have info on. And so I messaged her and I asked her about it and stuff. And then slowly over time, she, told me how she allegedly knew this stuff. And she claimed she had done some kind of internship at Hawkins County. It took some kind of, and that she's not from that area, but just did some kind of internship there or something like that.
Oh, and I feel for them.
She said things like, and the stuff that she claimed was that the stuff this woman claimed was that Candace had, would hit, punch, kick, throw, whatever, and horrible things, really, and about the lice and scabies, and about inappropriate relationship with H and Candace, and that was being investigated allegedly. Allegedly, the boys had seen very inappropriate sexual things between Candace and teenage boys, or specifically H, supposedly. Yeah, the stuff seemed very legit, but it seemed to match up. But we have no proof that person was telling the truth. And then somebody recently found that old. She came up on panel one time, I believe. And she really sounds, her voice, like when somebody found that, put that out and I listened to it, her voice sounds really, really familiar. And it makes me wonder. But gosh, I mean, the information seemed so on point. So I don't know what to think about that one. That was very, very long time ago. But yeah, I know there was no actual report seen. By me, anyways.
I wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, out of love, trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
That means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way in this world. And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with. So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because
really,
we just try to.
We hardly know many of our neighbors. Do you guys actually believe that now? Oh, poor kitty cat. Leave the cat alone. Come here, come here, Athena. Come here, Athena. Come on. Come on. Come on, Bandit. Bandit. Leave the cat alone, please. Poor cat. Wouldn't come off the freaking gate. Well, LE should have that information, Missy. They should have all the CPS records and stuff if that woman was legit. You know what I mean? She claimed to have seen documents herself, So if she's legit, then yeah, law enforcement's would have that information already, because if anything she was saying was correct. But gosh, now after I've seen how many times, how people can be in this with these cases and have no problem making up stuff and can sound really legit too. I mean, that has a lot of the stuff just, it still stands today and seems to be accurate, but there's nothing in it that's been proven wrong yet, really. Absolutely wrong. So I don't know. Rare Bandit. So she said he hardly knows any of his neighbors. I hardly know any of my neighbors. That is such bullshit. Hold on. That is just ridiculous.
With. So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because we just try to be around good people.
He's such a liar. You hardly know any of your neighbors. You know every single one of your neighbors. What the hell are you even talking about? You hardly know your neighbors? You know your neighbors way, way better than I hardly know my neighbors. You, though, know your neighbors. What are you talking about? That really bothers me. What? You know, Blue Roof Dawn. Candace used to sit down there all the time and watch the boys play over there and talk to them over there at the Blue Roof Dawns. You know, Jody, Sue, and Andy. Wasn't there Mary Sexton or something? Isn't that related to Dawn? Wasn't she related to Dawn, who was over on Simpson Loop? He knows Fred Hill. He knows he was working for freaking the Redmonds the week before summer, right before this. Days before this? How the hell does she not know his freaking neighbors? He's such a liar, dude. God, that just bugs me. Right. So why is he saying that? That is like the biggest lie. I think he's even kind of friends with the Surfies too, isn't he? A little bit. I'm trying to remember. There's more of them that he's worked with and is close. And that is such bullshit. I hardly know any of my neighbors. When people lie like that, that's like him separating something. Yeah, you got to ask yourself, why would he separate himself from the neighbors? Huh? Why would he want to separate himself from his neighbors? Or make people think he wasn't friends with his neighbors? Well, his closest neighbor is Andy Bernard and Jody Sue. Besides, maybe Blue Roof Dawn might be a little bit closer. I don't know, but they're pretty comparable in distance. So he's trying to separate himself from his neighbors. Red flag number 5055. I don't know. Right, RJ. In the Dr. Phil interview, Dawn says about organized crime that they try to steer clear of it. Hey, Tanya.
People, I mean, and we do have good people in this area. We found out since this has all happened. We got some real good neighbors and good folks everywhere.
Since this has happened.
The most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without. Thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and
hey, Luminous.
Nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
She loves to dance. she would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl," and she would just like to twirl and twirl
I
and
wish we
twirl
could
till my
see both
arm
their
got.
I wish we could see both their faces during this whole thing, you know? I wish it wouldn't pan back and forth. I wish we could see them their whole face, both their faces the whole time.
Tired, you know, but
Hey,
you
Robin.
know, I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, you know, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, you know, well,
That's a big
I'm
deal.
sorry about that. It's just,
She also likes.
Don, that's a huge deal. You don't say was. That just doesn't come out. That's just. Even when I talked about Jim, you know, it was always in the present tense for so long. And it's still, sometimes I even slip, you know. So it's very strange that he moved to was. That's disturbing because that makes me feel like she's no longer around, even at this point, you know. Yeah, that's horrible.
Song by New Breed. It was called House. My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
she liked to think of herself as a princess, and you know, and all that, like all young girls do. And
She loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa and.
I think she really loved to be in church
Loved.
because she felt a lot of love there. And
She loved. Everything's in past tense. It's not normal. Everything's in past tense. She loved. She was. I mean, everything they're saying.
I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, you know, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church.
She loved everybody in that church. Instead of she loves everybody in that church. You guys, this is not good at all. Which obviously you already know that. This is 2 weeks after she went missing.
I should rephrase that because they'll tear that apart as past tense, and I apologize again for that.
Look at him. Look at him like annoyed that he notices, uh-oh, I said past tense. You wouldn't even care that people were saying that stuff if your child was missing. It wouldn't even matter.
She gets to come home, you know, and I hope she gets to be with our church family again.
Our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
Yeah, she looked up to women that were.
She come to that church, she went looking for Robin. That was her favorite person.
Any woman that was professional, that
was pretty,
yeah,
beautiful.
she looked up to those kind of women. She, you know, they were the word I'm looking for. I can't think of it. But
girly.
She looked up to them. She'd give them a run for their money every day. She'd give them a run for their money, and there was times, you know, we'd be, you know, at our boys like, don't do this and don't do that. And next thing you know, the stick would come up and just walk.
Everything he's saying, all these stories, it's always instead of him saying there's times, like there is times, he'll say there was times. You know, everything he's saying is in past tense. And she's only been missing for 2 weeks at this point. That's going to seem like yesterday. No. Mm-mm.
Up them, you know, and be like, Summer, don't do that.
Summer was the boss of the family.
Was the boss of the family.
Typical girl.
How are they both doing that? How are they both talking in past tense? You know, it's not like one of them's slipping up. Sometimes they're both talking in past tense the whole time.
You put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She'd love to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower around, she would run behind me. When the boys run their bikes around, she as fast as that little.
See, he just talked about he goes when the boys run their bikes around. He talked in present tense, but then when he was talking about summer, he's saying when I would mow the lawn, she would, what? And then he said she would, but then he brings up the boys and he talks in present tense there for a second.
She would be behind them running and keeping up with them, no problem. She loved to run. She just loved to run, and
she loved to run
herself up on that swing, her full
she
body
would.
weight with her two hands, and she could do that. None of the other boys can do that, but she can.
Was she in school yet?
No, she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year.
She's been. We did all the what?
I took care of everything. I had her already taken all of her shots and registered in the school ready for this year.
I just never expected for anyone to get a hold of my heart like she has, because I try to guard my heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands, and I love her with all my heart.
He's talking in present right there.
I'd do anything to have her back. If there's any way, if you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But
look at Candace,
heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back, and just please have mercy on her, and and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. My biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement.
Oh my God!
Because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her.
I wish I could have saw Candace's face during that.
Her downfall. Because a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? Go get Summer now." And that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person.
She was an outdoor person.
And I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything. And I'm afraid that she won't be able to, locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything, love nature, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to
look at Candace's eyes.
I just want to focus on
look at Candace's eyes. She's like, "What the fuck, dude?"
I just want to focus on the positive. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because it's so easy to get, lost in that negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I'm just, I appreciate y'all for the good things you say and your prayers. That's awesome.
When my sister went missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen.
So she just said that.
But
She literally just said she was in Tennessee around the time she said Arkansas and Tennessee around the time her sister went missing. So you guys, I mean, you remember we've talked about Fred thinking he possibly remembered Rose Bly or being in that area, or somebody who he thought was Candace's sister, right? Or it looked like the Rose Bly over there, right there at the bottom shed, that would be hanging out at the bottom shed at sometimes, right? And so that's interesting to hear. Oh, she was between Arkansas and Tennessee when her sister went missing. You know, maybe her sister was came down there sometimes.
But I hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
Yeah, there's nothing that, I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And you know, when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Lose it.
And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again, you know. So I start thinking in past tense. Sorry, but I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
You're thinking in past tense because you already know what happened to her.
New tonight, we're speaking with the
The Wells family lives across the street.
So what's this one? This one's the TBI from June 15th, 2021. 3 days after.
With the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Numerous local, state, and federal agencies are here in Hawkins County assisting in the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells. Here's the latest on the investigation. Summer was reported missing from her home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road at around 6:30 p.m. on June 15th.
Why does that say Sullivan County at the top? Emergency. Oh, was it maybe Sullivan County agency that
30 p.m. on June 15th. She was reportedly last seen where 6:30 p.m. on June. Agencies are here in Hawkins County assisting Summer Wells. Here's the latest on the investigation. Summer was reported missing from her home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road at around 6:30 p.m. on June 15th. She was reportedly last seen wearing gray pants, a pink shirt, and was possibly barefoot. At this time, the circumstances of her disappearance remain unclear, which means investigators have to explore all possibilities. Teams have searched from the air as well as on the ground, combing through thick and steep terrain.
We also have the investigators following every lead that comes in on TBI find, and also the ones called into Central Dispatch. Every lead is important to us, and we follow every one. We still want to encourage the public and community, if they know something or see something, then they need to make us a call, and they can remain anonymous.
We continue to hold out hope that Summer will be found safe. Anyone with information regarding her whereabouts is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND or send an email to tips@tbi.tn.gov.
Bill Johnson, a former federal prosecutor and co-host of the True Crime Reporter podcast, joins me now. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
So this little girl just appears to have vanished into thin air. She was reportedly gardening with her family outside. What stands out to you about the Summer Wells case?
Well, I guess to begin with, anytime there's a case of this nature, it turns out in the end that the vast majority are committed by someone they knew, whether it's a family member or someone else, someone that knew them. It's very rare that a stranger abduction or a stranger incident like this take place. It does take place. And I've had several I've worked on that it's been the case. But I see this as a bit of a, for lack of a better term, a country John Benet Ramsey case where the families made statements, perhaps some inconsistent statements, depending on what you read and who you believe. But at this point, there's not enough evidence, apparently, for law enforcement to either show those statements are true, the family's being truthful, or the family's not being truthful, or that any other person they've spoken with has been truthful or not. In John Benet Ramsey's case, they just didn't have enough evidence to link an individual to the homicide. And in this case, we don't have the little girl yet. And so it's a lack of evidence that makes it hard to contradict or corroborate statements. And so far, I think that's the main thing.
And I was reading about this case. It's really interesting. This reignited the search for her aunt, Rosemarie Bly, who also vanished from Polk County in 2009. That's a pretty big coincidence on its face.
That's odd. It may be a coincidence, but things of that nature that happen within families, sometimes there's a reason to look a little deeper. And I think in this case, if I'm reading correctly, the other children, that is to say her brothers, may have been taken from the home by Child Protective Services. I've read that. If that's true, there's something more to it that we're not hearing yet. And that's something that law enforcement will have to look into. I'm sure they are, and I'm sure there's much we don't know at this point.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. The only clue, as we just heard from that reporter, in her disappearance so far seems to be that red pickup truck. The whole community has been searching. It seems like they would have found something by now. We heard from that law enforcement officer saying usually we get some sort of credible clue or tip at this point in the investigation.
Oh my God.
Well, unless it didn't happen the way their whole basis for what they're doing is based on what I guess the family and maybe some others told them. So if that turns out to be mistaken in terms of its time or not correct, it may be that we had a case where a preacher in Texas murdered his wife and faked it as a suicide. And the time frame he gave, which law enforcement relied upon.
I was looking at these tattoos here, and what we've got here, we got Taz, but this son, a number 8 or infinity symbol on the thumb. I was looking to see if there is anything special with that. I know Taz is her nickname.
They just fully relied upon it for the longest time until they realized he was lying about all of it. And his alibi was completely impossible forensically. And so the foundation of what we start with in a case like this sometimes is a myth. It may not be. It may be exactly correct. But if it's a myth, then everything that works from there could be mistaken. And we just don't know enough.
Okay, Bill Johnson, thank you for joining us, host of the True Crime Reporter podcast. We appreciate your time tonight.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
What's this one?
I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us here on Closing Arguments. And
this is less than 2 weeks from Summer Wells. I don't even know if I've seen some of these ones. I mean, I would think so.
Is so heartbreaking. We're talking about a 5-year-old girl who went missing and has not been found. It's all taking place in Tennessee. It's a story we've been covering for some time. Take a look. There's her face. Her picture has been put on billboards, posters. It's all over. People are posting, reposting, all looking, hoping, and praying that they can find Summer Wells. There she is. And tonight we have some updates on the family of this missing angel, Summer Wells, who disappeared nearly 6 weeks ago. Over the weekend, Summer's father, Donald Wells, confirmed that Summer's brothers were removed from the family's home during an interview with J is for Justice podcast. Here is some of what he said.
Are the kids okay?
They're fine. They're fine.
The rumor is that they were taken out of the home. Were they taken from you guys? Were they? Oh no.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
A couple days ago.
I'm so sorry.
Right now, with everybody attacking us and all this stuff going on, right now, it's probably better for them.
Pretty interesting that he wants to say right there, probably better for them. It matches Fred's story that he was actually the one that called CPS when he was freaking geeking out on cocaine and he started freaking out, and that was around the same time. So it's the end of July actually. So that's interesting because this is dated July 28th. I was thinking it said June 28th. So July 28th. So the boys must have had to have been released. Just must have been taken out of the home at that point.
WJHL reporter Ansley Daniels spoke with Summer's parents, Donald and Candace Wells, after a hearing yesterday and is joining us live tonight with more. Ansley, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having us back on. I did actually speak with Don Wells yesterday as well as Candace. There was a court hearing yesterday here in Hawkins County. Now, I want to be clear that we were not allowed in the courtroom. I was not even allowed to take my phone or Apple Watch or anything like that into the lobby. I had to leave all of that into the car. So I was only allowed to take a pen and a notepad in to the lobby yesterday. They got there around 1 o'clock, right when their hearing began. They were immediately escorted into another area. And when they came out, that's when I had the opportunity to speak with both of them, where Candace Bly first walked out. She confirmed to me that the boys had been removed from the home late last week. Yesterday, she did not tell me why. She said that she would prefer to not explain why they had been left or about why they had been taken by the state. Now, she did say that they have retained an attorney, but she wanted to make clear that this was a separate situation from her daughter being missing from their home. A few minutes later, Don Wells walked out of the Justice Center and I spoke with him. He also confirmed to me that the boys had been taken. And he did mention something similar to what he said on the podcast. He said that the boys were safer where they were in state custody. Now, he did not explain to me why. He didn't give me any reasoning as to why they were safer. He just said that he believed that they were safer there. Now, yesterday, we also checked with the clerk's office. There is no new paperwork on this, but when it comes to situations involving minors, typically it's pretty a standard procedure for them to not release any paperwork or to not allow us into courtrooms and things of that nature. But again, both of her parents wanted it to be made clear that this was a separate situation from Summer being missing.
Let me ask you, Ansley, because you're there. When you said safer, a couple things come to mind. Sometimes in these super high-profile cases like this, there could be a lot of people kind of roll into.
I know that Mary was on Chris's just like on Summer's birthday, Michelle, and she was mentioning on there that Don might be in Utah and stuff like that, or that Don was in Utah. So she talked to Chris like a week ago, I think.
Maybe you don't want the kids near them, all this attention that they're getting as well. Do you think that played any role in it based upon what is happening near and around their home and in the community?
That certainly could be a reason as to why they were removed. I will say on the podcast, Don Wells did mention that he had an episode of drinking over the weekend. Again, we are not sure if it's correlated at all We just know that he mentioned it. He said that was the reason why on that podcast. However, yesterday when I asked Candace,
Oh, that was the same time. So he said he had a rough weekend of drinking. Well, there's some other things too, not just drinking.
she didn't want to give me the reason as to why they were taken. But you're right. There is a lot of talk about this case. It's definitely, made waves here in our community in Northeast Tennessee. There are people from all over the nation and the world watching this case right now. So that certainly could be a reason as to why they were taken. But again, there are prayer circles happening every week for Summer in the Kingsport community, which is about 30 minutes from where she lives. And her mother has been showing up to some. At the last one 2 weeks ago, Summer's brothers were there, but at the one last night, it was only Summer's mother as well as her Sunday school teacher. So, there have been people too that have been coming from all over the nation to those. So that, definitely does play into your theory some.
And how about the latest in searches? Have there been more searches? And if so, do we know anything about results? Was anything found?
There was another search over the weekend. EquiSearch Midwest came back. They were here in the beginning stages of this search. They came back over this past weekend. Unfortunately, though, nothing came up of that search, especially nothing that we're aware of at this time. However, yesterday we did receive an interesting release from the Churchill Rescue Squad. They were the lead agency on the ground search. And yesterday, after that search was completed over the weekend, they told us that they are no longer the lead agency for the ground search, and then everything will now go through the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office unless the Sheriff's Office needs them to assist. We aren't really sure why that is. Yesterday, we did reach out for an interview with Tim Coop, who is the incident commander of ground search operations, or was for this case, but he said that he was not interested in furthering the release that he sent out yesterday, just that he was, no longer the lead agency on the ground search.
All right, Ansley, stay with us. I want to bring two more folks into the conversation tonight. Joining us in Atlanta, Georgia, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office and forensics media analyst Joseph Scott Morgan, and in Salt Lake City, Utah, retired police commander, host of the Profiling Evil podcast, and author of Deceived, an investigative memoir of the Zion Society cult. Mike King is with us. Great to have you both here. Joseph Scott Morgan, let me start with you. Your reaction to the latest developments involving the family, that the siblings have been removed from the home.
Well, there's any number of reasons why people are separated from one another. Let's remember these children were that first point of contact.
It's crazy, though, that every time you would ask Dawn this question about why they were taken or whatever, you wouldn't give any comments, but Dawn would always reiterate that it was probably safer anyways. Yeah, because it was Dawn that it started freaking out and worrying that his boys were going to be next. So I mean, at least that's what he was telling Fred.
They had these immediate recollections. And one of the things that, police officers are taught early on in their training is that if you have witnesses, you want to keep them separated so that the stories can't get jumbled up. That's a possibility here. And you're dealing with young, delicate minds at this point in time. Secondly, what level of danger was there? People keep using this word safe. What level of danger was there?
Okay, so I'm just looking at the vehicles there. There's that tan goldish, that must have been a grandma's vehicle. Where's the...
Using this word safe.
Right here.
safe. What level of danger was there in this dwelling, at this residence, in the surrounding area? Why would they feel compelled to have this need to extricate these children from this location? And then, you have this familial dynamic. You really wonder, do the police have something else in mind here? Are they looking at something else? Has the situation become untenable in that residence? Remember what was mentioned just a few moments ago, the dad actually admitted to having a bout of drinking. That's certainly an environment that you would not want these young children in. My Lord, they've been subjected to enough at this point.
Mike King, your reaction to these latest developments involving the family?
Yeah, I think Joseph's right on target. The questions that I guess I have are, was it something related to the investigation, or was it entirely separate from that? And it would appear with Don's comments about the drinking, and he mentions other things which he doesn't really clarify, that it might be that family also acknowledges that with the stress that they're under with a missing 5-year-old daughter.
Or no, how about the fact that he's worried that the same thing is going to happen to his boys. Like, I don't know. It's crazy though, because I think nobody would assume or think that, the parents called themselves and asked them to take them, and then can you imagine like where it would be now? What if Dawn never called? How long do you think they would have let the boys stay in that household? And do you think that they would have still been there to this day? Because look at how many times all the kids were filled before Summer went missing. There were several times that we know of for a fact that CPS was contacted.
That they're not giving the attention that these children deserve. There are certainly questions about whether the home is a safe environment for the children anyway. And so there might be a number of reasons, but I particularly like the idea, Vinny, that this gives investigators an opportunity to really lock down whether that child entered the home, whether she went into the basement, whether she could have exited that basement door, whether there was someone else. There are so many things that they are pivotal in understanding, and I think it's a great opportunity.
That picture doesn't even look like Summer at time, really. This picture kind of looks different. Like, she looks different in different pictures.
Pivotal in understanding, and I think it's a great opportunity for forensic examinations.
Mm-hmm. Joseph, what do you think about the sheriff taking over the search efforts, the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department?
Well, he's going to have more. He has broader resources. I think he can call things to bear, call people up, bring in reserves, this sort of thing. Sheriff, it's well known that sheriffs are, there's a reason they're referred to as the high sheriff. They're some of the most powerful people in a particular county, and so you want that individual on point. One of the things that I'm really thinking about here, Benny, relative to this search, and I don't want to bury the lead and jump ahead, but one of the things I'm thinking about is that we have had so many boots on the ground in this case. My assumption is that...
Well, even Don had told Fred that he had got rid of one of his phones because he thought that law enforcement was tracking him. Well, what's wrong with that, Don? Why don't you want law enforcement tracking you?
That was the same night he called CPS.
Yeah, the same night he called CPS. But I do have to use the bathroom and get a drink, so I'm going to let this run a couple minutes, but I'm going to listen to it while I'm doing that. Huh? There are trees in front of where it parks. I can see it pull in and out, though. I would have to walk over. What?
She was asking if anybody knew the tag number. Some of Dawn said she thought she's been seeing Dawn's truck across from her house every couple of weeks. What up here?
What is Katie? You keep seeing Don's white truck. Oh, well, you could probably in these videos, I mean, and his plates, I'm sure are you saying you're claiming that you live right across the street from?
No.
Yeah. That's what she's saying. She's trying to say, Katie, are you really trying to say you can see Don, that you're across the street from? My window is in my bedroom. How? The only houses that could see, how would you see? It's impossible to see who their vehicles and stuff from any yard.
I feel like she's talking about where she lives. She stay across the street. Dawn's been pulling in every couple of weeks, she said. Somewhere's in.
Oh, are you saying that I'm going to be going back there? So, are you saying that that you're seeing Dawn near where you're at?
That's what she was saying.
There's a the dark blue truck is the one that's very is really, really important now, I feel like, because if you guys listen to my call with Pruitt, he really wants to know who was driving that truck, who was in that truck. So I wish they would put a BOGO out on it, because I think maybe it would bring answers, but that's, law enforcement knows a lot better than I do. Are you saying you live over by Don Wells, like on Ben Hill Road, Katie? Are you saying you see a truck, or you live close to the area in East Tennessee and you keep seeing a truck like Don's? Oh, I'm sure I could get you Don's license plate. It's all over I'm sure it's all over.
That they have used all manner of canine tracking at this point, everything from looking for a living human being to cadaver dogs, this sort of thing. And it would seem, at least, and we can't verify this, obviously, that there is no scent that has been determined. I'm thinking out on this property, this is a vast area. Are there abandoned wells? Are there sinkholes? I've visited this area and camped up there with my family. I can tell you there are caves up there. There's all kinds of little nooks and crannies that folks can get into, but they're not picking up on any kind of scent. So you're not just going to have a young girl that's barefooted, that's this age, that's going to wander off in a straight line and leave this grid area here. I'm still of the opinion that she has been spirited away somewhere.
Ansley, can you kind of fill us in on the extent of the search efforts? How many searches, how quickly after she disappeared they began, and where they've been focused?
The search began immediately, from what I understand, when that 911 call came in. I know that search, the initial night, went into the wee hours of the morning. Now, I think that they broke off for a little bit and then resumed daylight. I think they broke off around 3 or 4 and then kind of came back at daylight. And then after that, the searches went on for 13 days in that area, with more than 1,000 people searching for more than 160 agencies, not only across the state of Tennessee, but other states as well across the Southeast. I think that, your point to the cadaver dogs and the other dogs that have been here searching, is a very interesting point that you brought up. We learned a little bit about that last week in a communications meetings from EMA directors in Hawkins County. They mentioned that they, had to use some of their supplies to take the dogs further out into the woods on different ATV units, so they wouldn't get as tired. So we do know that dogs were used. We've been told that they've searched more than a 4-mile radius near the home, but nothing has come up, which is just leaving us with more questions than answers most days.
Yeah, Mike King, that's not a great place to be, with more questions than answers. So what's next? Where do we go from here, Mike? If these searches, and these are vast searches, you got Texas or Midwest EquiSearch coming in more than once.
Yeah.
You've got all law enforcement, and they're coming up empty. Where do we go?
Yeah, I think you got to go back to ground zero and solve that problem first. So the interviews with mom and dad and grandmother and the boys continues to be an extremely important piece of this puzzle. You got to come up with a reason why she would leave the property, and if it would have been because she was targeted in some way or just an opportunistic kind of thing. But we can't rule out the fact that this tyke could have wandered off, and just like we've talked about, there are so many places she could have tucked up under a bush or something. But as time goes on, and with the temperatures the way they are, there would start to be signs if she were somewhere out in the open. So it makes you worry about things like those wells or those little caverns where she might crawl.
I want to take a listening and remind folks, this is Candace Bly, Summer's mom, speaking and kind of giving us an idea of what happened. And this is the interview from WJHL, of course.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back.
So
she was just gone.
Ansley, Daniel, let me ask you, has anything changed in what the parents are saying happened? Have they added to it, elaborated on what happened that day?
To me personally, they have not. That's been their story, and Candace and Dawn have both stuck to that for the most part. The only thing that I would say that might bring a little bit of question is that time frame. She mentions 2 minutes, where Summer went inside and Candace was outside with her mother. She mentions that there was a 2-minute time span there, but a lot of people, like I say, myself included, question could she have walked off and gone that far away?
Porch, and I watched her walk.
In what video are you saying that there's a blue truck? Right here?
I want to take a listening and remind folks, this is Candace Bly, Summer's mom, speaking and kind of giving us an idea of what happened. And this is the interview from WJHL, of course.
But unfortunately, for the most part, that story has stuck the same. So we still, again, don't really know what exactly happened that night in Beach Creek.
Ansley Daniel, WJHL, always great to have.
I should message my oh well, that one's it needs to, it's a newer, let's see, the truck we're talking about is a newer, like it's old, it looks like really nice. That's too light blue. That's way too light. And that's too old too. Way too old.
We're talking about looks almost black.
Hmm?
The truck I'm talking about looks almost black.
Yeah, I mean there is this black one up here, right here, that you're seeing, or right there. But
see, Candace's Tahoe looks almost black in that picture, but it's a dark green.
Where? What Tahoe?
That one sitting in between the blue truck and Brandis's, that one.
Was that a Tahoe?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what that is. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still of the opinion.
I was thinking about messaging. I wonder. Hold on. I think her name's.
Supposedly Dawn's driving that blue truck now. From what I'm understanding.
He's driving what?
That blue truck.
What blue truck?
The one that you were just
That light blue one?
That light blue one, he's driving it now.
Really?
He just put a motor in it, what I told him.
A 2005 to 2008 ish. I'm messaging somebody from that was an EquiSearch early on in the investigation. Hold on. I'm gonna ask her about that truck. I said, hey, did you guys ever have any focus on anyone that has a 2005 to 2008-ish GMC Canyon type truck, single cab with very dark windows and a very nice dark blue paint job, can look black in some lights. Haven't talked to her. I need to talk. Oh, we were planning to schedule a way to talk. What happened to the red van Dawn had in photos? Red van. Hey, Pam.
Last time I seen a satellite image, not satellite image, but a drone image, it was parked next to the bus down there.
The green one that Kiddos took to look for Summer that day. The green one. You mean, I'm not sure which one we mean by the green one. Yeah, Katie, you could always email me if you wanted to show me anything at YouTubeZiggy@outlook.com, and you can always let me know if you don't want something shared or something your name put out there or anything. Or I'm trying to see in the comments where my email is, but right there. Thank you, Luminous. I know that they're
on day 16 of an active Amber Alert for Miss.
So it's July 1st, 2021. I know there's a lot of people live right now. I know I chose a really bad time to go live, but I didn't want to keep waiting. And I'm thinking about possibly maybe we can continue this while I craft here in a little bit, maybe. This
5-year-old Summer Wells, authorities say the little girl whose picture so many of us now have seen for several days has still not been found. But Summer's not the only missing person in her family. You may have heard by now that Summer's aunt, Rose Bly, is missing. And
she's been missing since 2009. So 2009, the oldest boy may have been a baby. Josie might have been alive.
He was born in 2009.
You think it was?
That's what somebody posted the other day. I don't know what month.
Yeah.
Has been missing since 2009 in the state of Wisconsin, where investigators say they are still looking for her. We heard from Summer's parents earlier this week about how Rose Bly's disappearance makes Summer's case much more difficult. Very important to note here, the TBI has said that they are aware of the Rose Bly missing persons case, but they have no evidence that links the two cases together. News Channel 11's Bianca Murray spoke with Wisconsin investigators about their efforts to find Summer's aunt. Bianca,
So
they're sharing a
they're
message.
saying no evidence that the
with
two are
local law
connected. I don't know what to think about if
enforcement, the community, and also the Wells family, right?
That's exactly right, Josh. Now, Rose Bly disappeared without a trace in 2009. And in 2019, the Polk County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office tried to draw attention to her case by doing a really big media push. Now, the sheriff tells me he hasn't given up hope, and he says that he's hopeful that Summer is found as well.
There is a lot of interest in it, and certainly we will help any way we can to work towards closure for both cases. If there's anything we can do to help, we're certainly willing to do that.
The Polk County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office sharing this footage with us that they produced in 2019 on the 10-year.
So right here it says TBI doesn't believe the two cases are connected. So she was 21 years old when she went missing in 2009. So 16 years later, she would have been so now she would be about 37. About 37 years old.
History of Rose Bly's disappearance.
And it's horrible. It's hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with. And my life will never be normal without knowing where my daughter is.
When 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared, her family told me nobody can understand the pain of not knowing where two family members are.
I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too.
And she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. I want to keep hope, but sometimes I just lose hope.
Lose it.
And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again.
Wisconsin law enforcement sharing a message of encouragement to local law enforcement looking for Summer Wells and to the Wells family.
Anytime you have a missing person, there's an impact, but when it's a child, it's even a bigger impact. I sympathize with them. I know the tremendous amount of work and effort that goes into this, and it isn't all hands on deck. So I
was trying to see
I sympathize with the work they're doing. Wow. I don't ever give up hope.
The Polk County Sheriff tells me that they have received phone calls when people look up the Summer Wells case and find information about the Rose Bly case. He says he hopes that generating a message will help get the word out and help bring them both home safely. Reporting live in the Beach Creek community, Bianca Murray, News Channel 11.
Another look at 5-year-old Summer Wells. Investigators continue to hold out hope that somebody knows something that will help them find her. Tips can be phoned in 1-800-TBI-FIND. There is an email, tips to TBI@tn.gov. Today, they're asking for credible first-hand information.
Credible first-hand information. So, well, I feel like Fred has credible first-hand information, and one of these days, I hope, the side of her upper temple. Oh, are you talking about Summer? He could have called her to the bar that night for it. What's weird is I just drew a couple cards. And these two cards just fell out, and they both have a plane on it in reverse. Look at that. The both are a plane. One secret trip in reverse, flight risk in reverse. And I feel like this is showing some kind of secret trip that she went on that people don't know about, and they didn't want her to get away for some reason. They were protecting themselves, so it was planned. And it says it was planned, premeditated, and then I got something about being lured in the mountains by a couple. I'm just saying.
You're talking about Rose, aren't you?
Yeah. Talking about Rose Bly. I was just curious at what would come out.
Mark, thank you. New details tonight of the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells. Incident Commander Tim Coop says the command center at Mount Carmel Baptist Church has been demobilized and that multiple local search crews and outside resources are on standby now.
Tonight marks 2 weeks since Summer's parents say she was last seen at their home in Hawkins County. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says they have received 650 tips in the search for 5-year-old Summer. TBI tweeted this afternoon urging the public to only share information from credible sources, adding, quote, sharing speculation or rumors only makes the process more difficult for law enforcement by increasing the number of non-credible tips, end quote.
News Channel 11's Bianca Murray joins us live. Bianca, we got to speak with both of Summer's parents. What did they say about the toll her disappearance is having on their family?
Well, Josh and Sarah, we spoke with the Summer's parents yesterday, and they said that she is an absolute force of nature in their home. But now that she's missing, they say it's like every member of their family has lost a little bit of their heart.
Her brothers are so devastated that
I'm just looking there, seeing it. Looks like Robin back here. Yeah, she's not a striped dress. That looks like she must have. She's all the way back. I recognize that guy who's always.
her brothers are so devastated that they wake up every morning crying for their sister. And as a mother, it really hurts to see your other children crying.
Summer's parents say her brothers are having a hard time coping with their sister disappearing. 12-year-old
I'm just trying to look at some of his tattoos. Just looking at details.
Josie, 11-year-old Wyatt, and 9-year-old Waylon.
And he misses his sister so much because he played with her all the time.
Summer's mom, Candace. Summer's mom.
All the time. All the time.
So, 12, 11.
Summer's mom, Candace, says she's been receiving hateful messages on social media, most of which she says.
So they were 12, 11, and 9 at the time when Summer went missing. So 16. The one could be 16 almost now. Josie.
Calls her a bad mom.
And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
Summer's mom says she's
I'm just trying to see who that in the background is in the black shirt. And
Ever.
Summer's mom says she's fearing the worst.
I'm just scared that somebody's hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it. And it smothers me.
Summer's dad says he fears her being locked up indoors somewhere because he says she loves to be outside.
She loved to be outside all the time. That was her. Unfortunately, her downfall. A lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone?"
Hey, Sharon.
Go get Summer now. And that's happened over.
What did Ronnie Lawson mean when he said they are looking for something as small as a laptop computer? Because she's so tiny.
They were speculating if she had passed.
If she had passed away.
Knit her up into something that size.
Yeah. Because she was so thin and little. She was 40 pounds. I guess that's what he meant. It's just that she would have taken up little room.
Over and over again. And I'm so afraid that she's locked away.
Josh and Sarah, the family, tell us that they think Summer was abducted. However, the TBI says the circumstances of Summer's disappearance remains unclear. And though this command center has been demobilized, search crews say they are still following up on every tip. Reporting live in the Beach Creek community, Bianca Murray, News Channel 11.
The search for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells continues today as we reach day 31 since the Little Hawkins County girl was reported missing.
News Channel 11's Bianca Murray spoke with Summer's Sabbath school teacher about how much the little girl meant to her and the church they attend.
Summer's parents told us she really looked up to her Sabbath school teacher as a role model. Yesterday, I heard from Robin Lane how much Summer meant to her and her experience from the night Summer disappeared.
Whenever I was helping teach Sabbath school, she was in my lap. And sometimes it was hard to teach because she wanted to be in my lap, holding me and hugging me. I just discovered that it was actually easier for me just to hold her and let her love on me and hug me and teach with her on me than it was to make her sit in a chair.
Robin Lane tells me she had a close bond with Summer.
She was a helper. She loved to help. She loved to love on us. And I just loved her little arms around my neck all the time.
She recalled she was attending her own daughter's dance recital the night Summer disappeared.
I was taking my little girl's pictures before her dance class, and I noticed I was missing calls from Candace. Before I even had a chance to call her, she messaged me again on Facebook Messenger, and she was just in a panic mode. And she says, Summer's gone. We can't find her anywhere. The police are here searching. And I said, I'll be right there.
Lane said she arrived at the Beach Creek area around 9 p.m. on June 15th, the night Summer was reported missing.
I was ready. I was like, let's do this. Let's get the flashlights out. Let's get some snacks in our bags. It's going to be an all-nighter, And
oh my God. I mean, I don't have really much a problem with. I don't think Robin's any. I've never really thought much. I mean, it's just. I don't know. It's just an odd thing to say, I guess it could be nervous laughing, I guess, too. I can get like that.
And they wouldn't let us even go up there.
Police blocking the entrance to Ben Hill Road, Lane said. Lane says she offered assistance the only way she could.
And we showed them some pictures of Summer. The police didn't have very good pictures of her, or some of them hadn't even seen a picture of her yet.
Later that night, she was granted access to the Wells home.
At that point, there's really nothing I could do. They just needed someone to pray with them. You feel really helpless in that situation because you want to do something. It makes you feel better to do something. But we couldn't, so we just prayed and we just hugged on them and loved on the boys. And they, of course, were just shattered and just confused, as was I.
Lane says police wouldn't allow them to assist in the search.
She had a unique view, you know.
And it was really hard driving home with her not being found. Helicopters everywhere, search dogs everywhere, police everywhere, and there's nothing.
Just looking at what kind. That's an interesting looking vehicle. What is that? A hearse? Oh, well, that
everywhere.
Is right behind there. Well, who's that guy that's standing right there? I don't know why.
And there's nothing that you can do to help.
Tonight at 6, hear how the members of the Kingsport Seventh-day Adventist Church has been offering whatever help they can to the Wells family in this time of need.
There's Bianca Murray reporting. If you have information on where Summer Wells might be, contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or email credible tips to the address on your screen. Tips to TBI.
Alex, thank you very much. The lack of answers and progress in the investigation into what happened to Summer Wells has frustrated not only law enforcement, but people around the world.
So this is December 10th of 2021.
Wednesday marks 6 months since family members reported the 5-year-old girl missing from our Beach Creek community home in Hawkins County, Tennessee. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Hawkins County Sheriff, Ronnie Lawson, have stressed the negative impact of online rumors and misinformation on the search investigation. But 4 social media sleuths, as they see themselves with big followings, have come to our region in hopes of uncovering some clues that investigators may have missed. News Channel 11's Bianca Murray spoke with them.
The 4 have a combined following of over 2 million people. They say they came here for answers for both themselves and their ample audience.
I mean, it's been 6 months. 6 months. 6 months. And I don't want this girl to be a cold case.
They're at like a stalemate here. It's been 6 months.
Do they really have 2 million followers altogether at that time? I'm just wondering. I'm like, I don't know about that, but.
And they still don't have answers.
So they are here. 4 social media sleuths from around the country traveling here to Hawkins County to keep up awareness. Summer Wells is still missing.
Pressure breaks pipes.
They are social media influencers and investigators. Their goal is to make noise and get noticed. They say it brings attention to victims, but criticism to their tactics.
And any leverage I can use, whether I like what's coming out of my mouth, if it's leverage that I can pull people in, I will use it.
It's just creepy.
Olivia Vital has 1.2 million followers.
Creepy. Talking about look, Benny, you made the news. Look at Benny. Oh gosh.
Olivia Vital has 1.2 million followers on TikTok.
It means that we can reach a large
audience. She has 1.2 million. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say Olivia probably did have a lot. So okay, they probably did between them all then have maybe almost 2 million, maybe.
And bring exposure and spotlight to these cases. It really is about spotlight and bringing awareness. And with my account, I'm able to do that.
They met while each individually covered the Gabby Petito murder investigation that gained national attention.
And the four of us came together as a group and put all of our talents and all our resources together, and we became a team. And we decided to come here for Summer Wells.
While in town, they say they met with the sheriff's office and surveyed the Wells property. They deliver any findings back to law enforcement.
This has opened up almost like a niche market for crime solving.
The idea is to keep spreading awareness. A finger touch to their phone starts their sometimes nightly conversations with their hungry for answers audience,
Our mission.
who support them.
See, so that's a super chat right there. Someone just donated $10. Thanks.
Let's see who's
$10
out
little
there.
by little adds up to pay for the means to work.
That is
Sweet dreams, Tammy Lynn. Oh God, Chroma Mamo.
not helping.
Which is what they say this
Amanda T.
is.
We're
Oh gosh, there's Gigi.
down in Florida. We're over in Utah. We're in Wyoming. We're now in Tennessee. This stuff costs real money. And, you know, this is a full-time job. And the only way we could afford to do something like this is by providing a service to the viewers, providing information they're getting no place else.
Those viewers trust what they pay for, and the reward for them is hope that Summer's case will be solved.
It gives me purpose, and I just feel like it's my duty to help bring justice to people that don't have a voice anymore.
The four say they gave local law enforcement a heads up before they came to town. They were granted an audience with investigators. This morning, I contacted Sheriff Ronnie Lawson and asked for an interview, but was denied. In Hawkins County, Bianca Marais, News Channel 11.
At the time, they were, you know, it was.
Well, investigators are continuing to ask for credible tips, and you can phone those in to the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. A reward fund has now grown to nearly $74,000, according to the Churchill Rescue.
The Bureau of Investigation took to social media today saying they're once again seeing a slew of misinformation being spread online regarding the search for missing Hawkins County 5-year-old Summer Wells.
This has been a problem for months. Ainsley Daniels tracking the story. Her family, Summer's family, reported her missing nearly 5 months ago. Ainsley's now live in the studio with an update on the case. Ainsley.
Unfortunately, a lot of it was their own parents, and causing all the confusion, and a certain neighbor with a scream, you know.
Josh and Sarah, in that series of 6 tweets, the TBI says that they've recently seen an uptick in misinformation about the case of the missing 5-year-old. Those tweets also reveal that numerous search warrants have been executed and any potential digital evidence has already been collected, including social media accounts. Summer Wells was reported missing by her family June 15th, sparking an Amber Alert and a widespread search in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. That search lasted for several weeks. In those tweets today, the TBI reiterated they are still working daily with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI in Knoxville in that search. They say that those efforts have included numerous ground searches, dozens of aerial searches, dive teams in area waters, and K9 search teams. The TBI also says they have checked all available surveillance photos and videos in the area as well, and they continue to say they will not give up until Summer is found. Now, Donald Wells and Candace Bly will be speaking about their missing daughter in front of a national audience the next 2 days when they will be on the Dr. Phil Show. You can watch that here on News Channel 11 at 4 p.m. both Thursday and Friday to hear what they had to say. Now, following the Dr. Phil Show on News Channel 11 at 5 and through the evening tomorrow, we will provide you with continuing in-depth.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, I know, and the Sheriff's Office are continuing to work on this, and they're still looking for this little girl. They say they've been so frustrated with the lack of information in the case. And I know, Ainsley, you've been working with our team here to produce several stories over the next few days about the latest on the case. What are some of the things you're focusing on?
So we have spent a lot of time in Beach Creek as a team here at News Channel 11, especially in that height of the search. Now, we have gone back to Beach Creek the last few weeks. We have spoken with different neighbors. We have gone back to the investigators as well as Don Wells. We have spoken with all of them. So starting tomorrow, you're going to hear from Don Wells and Sheriff Lawson, but you're also going to meet a neighbor who lives across the street from the Wells family who tells us that
She heard a scream the night Summer went missing. She says that she heard it a few hours before that timeline that the police gave us started, but she kind of goes through what she recalls of that night and what she has been through with investigators. Now, we also spoke with a pair of YouTube content creators who talk a little bit about how that has played a major role in this case and why they believe cases like this are so popular on that online platform and what their passion is, because it's really interesting considering that, you know, these people are creating content based on cases that we cover in the news, but these people are just more like freelance or just regular content creators, people that aren't like us, and so just a different media platform. So we learned a little bit more about that, as well as other community members and a few other stories that we're excited to share with you that we've been working on the last couple of weeks.
And we look forward to seeing those reports tomorrow, Ainsley.
Absolutely.
All right, Ainsley, thanks. Again, TBI is asking anyone with credible information on Summer Wells to contact them as the search continues. You can call 1-800-TBI-FIND or email your tips to tipstotbi@tn.
Okay. Recent arrest and interview.
First at 5 o'clock, more legal troubles wasn't the plan, leaving Hollywood after filming that Dr. Phil show you just saw here on News Channel 11. But not long after their return to Northeast Tennessee, missing 5-year-old Summer Wells' father was arrested on suspicion for DUI.
Then again in court the following Monday for that being a violation of his probation. News Channel 11's Ainsley Daniel was able to ask him how the ongoing attention will help find his daughter. She's live in the studio tonight. Ainsley?
Josh and Sarah, this was Don's first on-camera interview since going to LA and coming back home, and since those charges on him have mounted. Now, he told me, though, that he knows he's no media darling.
I have.
What the hell is a no media darling? See, look, he's no media darling. I just noticed that. I'm like, what the hell is a media darling? I guess star or something.
Lost control. I've done stupid things, and for that I apologize.
Confessions of a father who says he has struggled emotionally since the disappearance of his daughter. And that's not all.
You know, we've had problems with threats and violence and all kind of things like that, and it's been dangerous.
It's clear how many think of him.
It's been dangerous not only for us, but for everybody that we're involved with.
Summer's older brothers were taken by Child Protective Services back in July. A deeper strain now on their parents' marriage.
Me and her have had a lot of problems because of this. And we're both just down.
Now, what did you say he said involved with? He said what? Something about involved with?
They was in danger, and the people that they was involved with was in danger as well. It's something like it. It's something that phrase.
Yeah.
That was weird.
And miss our kids.
I wish I can get in Candace's brain right about then.
Don't exactly know how to deal with all that.
But they stand together in what they think happened to their only daughter.
Me and Candace know for a fact that Summer was abducted. We know that, but...
Can you share with me why you know for a fact or how you know?
Well, the reason that I know is because I know my wife, and I know what kind of emotions and the heartbreak that she's been going through, and the way everything happened when she called me.
Have police given you any information on that or anything pointing to that?
No.
That's unheard of.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson says they have found no evidence Summer was abducted.
Why is it our property is any different than any other property where kids are abducted? Why? What makes them think, oh, there's no way an abduction can happen here, but everywhere else it's probable, but not this property?
Don Wells told us he could not speak about his recent charges based on the advice of his...
So weird that he just really, really, really wanted to push the abduction because he couldn't, she couldn't have just walked off. It couldn't have, he wanted people to think she'd been taken abducted by somebody who didn't know her. There's no evidence of abduction. Police wanted people to know that. There's no evidence of abduction and also no evidence that she just walked off. What's that leave? Basically foul play. Something like she was purposely handed off. It was she was handed off to somebody. That's different than abduction. But abduction is, it's not like a willing thing. There's someone fit to not have one want to, but 3 boys taken her not to look at them when their daughter goes missing. Exactly. When did Dawn and Candace get married? Because Dawn said he didn't know Candace's sister. Right.
They never did get married, did they?
Yeah, they put out their marriage certificate. It would have been right around that time, 2009.
Did they ever show
or 2000?
Summer's birth certificate? So I was hearing her a while back.
No, I don't think they did ever show Summerwell. No, they never showed Summerwell's birth certificate. I don't think. Did they, guys? Allegedly, Kathy, the friend, claimed to have seen it or something, right? Or claimed to flash it. I don't know. I do know the marriage certificate was shown, but I think maybe a birth certificate for maybe Josie. I don't know. For one of them. I don't think it was Summer though, right?
I've never heard of.
Hey, Val. That's what I heard. Yes, I plead the fifth. At least that's what he was thinking. Allegedly. He was believing that, yes. I don't know if he still does for a fact. That was something about at least over 6 months ago. Yeah, and there's that picture of Candace and Dawn. We've seen 2 of their supposed wedding. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's legal, right? But I believe their marriage certificate has been put out there. Hey, Wendy. I said hi earlier. You didn't hear me? Yeah, Candace was in a dress. That's funny. And Summer was a baby. So that means that when they got married, then they would have if Summer was a baby, then it must have been in 2016 or something when they got married. 2016 or 2017. Looked like 2016 probably, since she was how little Summer was in the picture. She looked like she was younger in 10 months, so it was probably 2016 when they got married. Because Summer would have been born February 4th of 2016, right? If she was 5 in 2021. Wasn't Summer born in Utah? So, I think that she was supposedly born in Rogersville, is what the rumor is.
I thought she was born at Holston Valley Hospital.
Yeah.
In Kingsport.
Oh, Holston Valley. Maybe it was Holston Valley.
Well, I thought.
I don't. It was a local. I thought it was a local one. So yeah, it might have been Holston. Them carrying a baby holder, trudging through a snowstorm, like Jody said, how she met Summer. Is that how she said she met Summer? Are you serious? In a snowstorm? Why does everything have to be such a dramatic? 8 Venezuelan nationals facing federal charges out of Nashville for human trafficking. Well, hold on, let's look that up real quick. Wait, when was this? Okay, so that was just yesterday. Let's see. This is Nashville, but still, which is it's pretty far, but 8 Venezuelan nationals facing federal charges out of Nashville for human trafficking. U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, Robert McGuire, says defendants were arrested in Tennessee, Texas, among other states. So I'm looking at the names real quick. Choo Choo, Frania, Nanny Nanny, Indri, La China, La Gorda, Kleiber, Yeeby. Oh, I'm looking at their supposed names, but it says that's very weird because this sounds familiar to something about one of Fred's sister's buddies who wanted Fred to go pick up this little girl or this girl at the airport, claiming it was his daughter. I don't even know if I told you guys that story. And Fred wouldn't do it. And it caused a big, huge fight because it was an odd story. Yeah, one of Karen's little buddies several years ago wanted Laura and Fred to go pick up this 13-year-old girl at the airport coming from Guatemala. Wasn't it Guatemala? Just like, Karen had all those Guatemalan, like she had those, you found all those transactions to, and this has been turned into TBI, guys. Found all those transactions to Guatemala with green dot cards, bunch of green dot cards, wigs, mask, bunch of receipts and transactions. Anyways, there was a 13-year-old that her buddy was trying to get Fred to pick up from the airport. Fred wouldn't do it. He claimed it was his daughter. How many years ago was that?
I can't think. It seemed like about 2018.
2018. Well, we're trying to think when she would have.
I can't think when it was.
Yeah. Anyways.
I've been before that.
So this says the United States Attorney's General Office for the Middle District of Tennessee announced the indictment of 8 Venezuelan nationals allegedly connected to human trafficking operation. The indictment alleges all 8 worked together to recruit and bring women from Central and South America to the U.S., specifically to Tennessee and other states, to operate a commercial sex business enterprise. Prosecutors allege the defendants targeted young, poor, and vulnerable women from Venezuela and among other countries. The indictment says women were approached and promised a better life by the defendants, but once they arrived, they were told they were to pay their skyrocketing debts from travel by having sex with strangers. I want to reiterate that human trafficking is a real problem here in our community, the U.S. Attorney Robert McGuire said. Ignoring it will not make it go away. It cannot live in the shadows. We have to bring it to the light and hold those accountable who would do their crimes in the dark. Yep. Officials say this was a result of a years-long investigation into this operation with the help of multiple local, state, and federal partners. Leaders say the investigation started with the Metropolitan National Police Department and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And then it shows the following were charged, and these are 8 Venezuelans. Here, one guy that goes by the name Yilibeth del Carmen Rivero del Caldera, charged with conspiracy to commit interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, conspiracy to commit interstate and foreign travel or transportation in aid of racketeering enterprises, and sex trafficking conspiracy. All those same charges here, the same exact charges for this guy too. Cleaver Daniel Mota Rivero, aka Kleber, but he also has the possession of a firearm by a legal alien. And this guy right here, you're Betsy Del Valle Gomez Machuca, aka La Gorda. La Gorda. Are these women? With the A, La China? Frania. They usually, if a name ends in A in like a Spanish, it's usually feminine. So Jesus, Enrique Castillo Rodriguez Chuchu, Frankiana Del Valle Romero Rivera Frenia. Anyways, says, right here it says, though, the indictment says the defendants used hotels in the Nashville area to lure buyers to where they would force the victims to be for sexual favors. According to court documents, they would use online advertising as well as messages like WhatsApp to determine pricing based on certain favors. Prosecutors allege that Yibi and Cleaver used their ties to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua to intimidate the victims into continuing to engage in commercial sex acts. We're depending on the community to make a difference in the lives of very vulnerable women and girls who may have been taken from their families under false pretenses and forced into the worst hell imaginable. Multiple representatives from various law enforcement agencies spoke out at a press conference Tuesday condemning human trafficking and urging community members to remain on alert. The trafficking of human beings is abhorrent to all of us, says MNPD Chief John Drake said. It is a modern-day form of slavery. I want to be clear, our police department will always make human trafficking investigations a priority at our police department, regardless of where a suspect is from. McGuire said they were focused on prosecuting the defendants here in Nashville before any talks of deportation were to happen. Specifically, the message that law enforcement is sending with this indictment is that human trafficking is an abomination. McGuire added that we will find it wherever and whenever it exists, that we will recover the survivors, and we will stop it once and for all. McGuire says that dozens of victims in this case will receive victim support services, likely with local and state organizations. All 8 defendants are in federal custody awaiting prosecution. They were arrested in multiple states, including Tennessee and Texas. And then it says if you know anybody who is a victim of human trafficking, you can call 888-373-7888. Right. She's talking, I believe, talking about Robin when she was talking about how she was laughing about, acted like she was excited for an all-nighter. Yeah, packing a picnic, like they're going to go camping and stuff, like it was going to be so, like fun, or I don't know. It's kind of weird, but she was probably nervous.
We should check and see if any of them names is on that one man's friend list and stuff.
Which ones? The one that has it, but this is Venezuela though, not
Yeah, that's right.
this is Venezuelan. Not
Yeah, okay. On something.
what is the one that I just said earlier? Huh?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. And if you guys look, and it's kind of dangerous to talk about, honestly, because if you look at the types of people into the like cockfighting, rooster fighting out there, it was pretty till pretty recently. Cockfighting in East Tennessee, especially in Beach Creek area, and that area is right there. The Kentucky area, London, Tennessee, or London, Kentucky? Harlan. Near all that area, anyways, is big. Used to be big into cockfighting, still is secretively. It's just somewhat recently, became illegal completely over there because people used to travel up to Kentucky. But if you look at the people in that area, there's a lot of Guatemalan ties to people in Beach Creek area who are into cockfighting still. And you'll see that and Karen is right up in there with them. I don't know, and some other illegal activities. Probably trafficking, I'm guessing, is big. And these groups, what was that you're going to say? Did you all see Teacher Ressa at same school Madeline went to? I was watching Interview Room. Did he mention that? What about dog fighting? That's more of, yeah, your guys.
They have done a little bit of it around the creek, but not much.
Yeah, there's a little bit of it, but I don't know. It was there. A lot of those people are desensitized to the rooster fighting and stuff because it was very normal out there in their culture back in the day. But you'll see a lot of people out there still raising roosters and stuff and selling them to these people. But the thing is, when you get involved in that, there's also other types of illegal activities those people are into. A lot of those groups. It's very ingrained in their culture. Down there in that area, it used to be very big in the Beach Creek area. And you'll definitely still see the signs of it around when you go out there. I mean, and you could tell who's still kind of into it, like by some of the stuff they have around, like maybe a lot of cocks around. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about dog fighting really, but
No, it has a little bit, but not much. But long time ago.
Like bulldog or not bulldogs, but pit bulls.
Yeah, it's been probably 20 years or something ago. A little bit of it went on, but
yeah.
Or that's what I was told. I don't know. I was never there. I mean, that is hearsay. So
yeah, you did with yeah. I mean, but you definitely did see rooster fighting and stuff like that. That's normal, and that was normal in that area for so long.
Well, I never did even go to none around Beach Creek.
Well, they would usually travel up to Kentucky, is what I was saying.
Yeah, I always went to Harlan or what is it, Summeron County or whatever they call it, Somerset.
Yeah, so everybody out there, it's so close to East Kentucky. That's why it was so, like, a lot of people out there would,
In Pineville, Kentucky.
Pineville, Kentucky and stuff, because it was legal there till like when?
Well, it's been illegal for about 25 or so years. Now.
25 years about. It's been.
I mean, it used to be.
But your dad, back in the day, though, when you were a kid.
I didn't get no tipping back then, but probably 30 years now.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like Kentucky, the ones that was hosting the chicken fights and stuff with judges and sheriffs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's one on the.
Well, city chief of police out there owned a lot of the bars and out there.
Like Kingsport. I mean,
yeah, so.
Hog Wild.
And that's where this corruption and stuff start coming in. You start getting kind of mixing this stuff and you kind of get blurred lines.
I mean, chief of police of Kingsport owned Hog Wild, the coconuts when they was open for a long time. Then he sold it to somebody else. But he also owned Liquor Cowboy in Gaza City. But they sold all of them pretty much about the same time.
Val does have a wrench on this channel when she's on her one. For some reason, she has more than one accounts. We'll have to figure out which one she wants me to mod. Because what happens is they'll make accounts in like my mods' names and they'll try to pretend to be you guys and act like, oh, I got a new account. Then I'll mod them and then you'll have like 2 of the same people and they're both coming in and then you were like, okay, which one's the real one? All right. There must be still some people there. Right? Yeah, well, I think I'm going to probably go for now and maybe come back. I'm going to try. I might come back on and craft or do cards or something. So I hate my sleep schedule lately. I really hate it. I've been up all freaking night the last couple nights until daylight.
And then we sleep all
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. But it's Fred's fault because he always keeps getting me back on that schedule. No, it's not. I have a hard time freaking keep myself on. But I love this. I love this. I love this. How this turned out. Look how nice that turned out, guys. I made that myself. It's gorgeous, isn't it? But I made it so on this side it's going to be flat so that I could put like a picture. You can I make a Summerwell's ornament or something. I could also make the other side flat and put another picture here. But how nice did it turn out? I'm very happy. Sorry, I gotta brag. So I'm kind of excited to see about putting Thank you, Wendy. I know, isn't that cool? That's that flake stuff. Carrie. And look at this one. This one turned out really well. This is a gift for somebody, but I'm sending it out but look how this one turned out pretty good too. except the little flakes or little glitters or whatever you call it kind of sink a little bit. But this one, it's really nice, isn't it? I think this picture, though, might be too dark. I might use... I could make this other side flat and put like a, you know, like this side. Put a butterfly. Yes, Carrie, this stuff that you sent me, yeah. That's from that glitters. I think I have the, well, I'm trying to think. I also got the resin flake, other type of resin flakes, or not resin flakes, gold flake, or chameleon ones. Oh, no. This one's not the one you sent me, Carrie, or it's a different flakes I was sent. This one's not the chameleon flakes. This is just regular flakes, regular, like, metallic, I guess, flakes or whatever. I put red and green all over it on the inside of the mold, and then I filled it with black, this like color, just plain black resin, and that's when you take it out of the mold, that's how it looked. This side was open to the air right here, but I did mix some of the red and green also in the resin. So it does have a little bit of sparkle to it right there. But this is because I rubbed the red and green straight on the mold and then poured the resin in. And yeah, it turned out so freaking cool. I'm obsessed. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Diana. So, and I have many of you guys that I promised things to. I haven't forgotten. It's just... oh, geez. I'm starting to get like a collection of stuff, so I think I probably... soon hopefully can start sending out some things. I know, I'm just like so in love how this one turned out. I took this silver piece is just off of a different ornament, the ornament that I used to make the mold for this. And what?
Watering crabs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. We're laundering money through our crafts. Oh, look at this pen, too. This one turned out really, really nice. I love it. It just turned out perfect.
I wonder if Innocent liked her reading last night.
Innocent until proven guilty.
I say Crystal didn't like her dad paying for it. Oh, I got.
Oh, they're just, I don't know.
I gotta start some crap, you know.
Of course. Yeah, I guess we did a reading on last night on Crystal Innocent until proven guilty, and they acted like they were so mad that they rage quit Crystal's live, and it's just so silly. Like, how are you going to get so mad and then act like you're going to take my channel over a tarot reading when you guys have been just going out of your way to try to get our attention and saying the most horrible things, saying, you know, like calling Fred a unaliver and trying to act like he has something to do with Summer's disappearance, and saying I'm like this, you know, all these things about me. But yeah, I do a tarot reading on you guys, and that's what throws you over the edge. Well, I say the whole time it's alleged and not a fact. But you guys are saying, oh, this is fact about Ziggy and this is fact about Fred. It's, so yeah, make it make sense, guys. Look at this one too, guys. Did you see this? This makes me sad. The mold melted on it. This is why you can't use those torch lighters. Like I was telling you that my hot air gun thing stopped working.
If you can't do it, then you done it anyway, didn't you?
Yeah, because I couldn't get the air gun to work, so I used, and it would have been so cute. I did that in layers, and then here's the mold stuck to it, and right here too, from when I heated it heated the resin to get the air bubbles out. So that's exactly why they tell you not to do that. So I'm sad. I ruined my mold. But I do have one of these made without lights in it that I'm going to use I'll make a mold out of it. She said Ziggy exposed her whole family through those cards. Girl, you all out of your family's business on YouTube. Right. Because it's real close to being facts, so it made them trip the fuck out. That's why I was wondering. That's why I was telling Fred after he got. I go. What if the reading was like so on point that it just freaked him out? Like, oh my god, Ziggy knows. She knows what we did last summer. It's funny. Because I was getting that innocent until proven guilty is actually like somebody very, very close to the case. Like a woman, she tries to make it seem like she's from New Zealand or something, I guess. But people don't understand. You can change very easily change Super Chats into a different country currency. I mean, with VPNs and stuff like that nowadays, it's so easy. You can change your location to anywhere. And also, as far as voice changers, is super simple, as I showed too on my tarot channel yesterday. And they can sound very, very, and you can be on camera, like on somebody's panel using a voice changer. It's super easy.
You going to start going on with the voice
A hair dryer? No. Huh?
You going to start going on with the voice changer every time?
Right, I should. I just didn't want to pay the money to for the good. There's only a few freebie voice changer options. You have to pay the money to get, the ones, the good ones that make you sound like you have an accent or whatever. Or you get to choose which country you want to sound like, But yeah, it's super possible. I know, and I don't have a hairdryer. I used to somewhere. I don't know where it's at. It was like a brush hairdryer type thing, you know what I mean? I can't even tell you the last time I used a hairdryer. I don't have one. Free from anything weirdo has a cute. Yeah, I know, right, Dana? Diana. Shit, I just freaking doxed Diana accidentally. Called her Dana. Eek, you caught us, Crystal. Crystal caught us. Oh, I love how you coined the term weirdo watch. That's the best. Weirdo watch. Wow. Oh, here's the flake things that I used. There we go. These are what I used for that ornament right here. That's exactly what was used. I just made sure the whole inside of the mold was pretty much covered. And then I used I colored the resin black so like you couldn't. Yeah. So yeah, that's the flakes I used.
Brother.
Hey. Pick up that piece of paper over there for me, Athena. That you probably put there. Can't keep the floor clean. We can't keep the floor clean here. Like they tear up. They love tearing things up.
Oh man.
What are you doing, Athena? Hold on. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that, guys. We could probably take off her or Bandit's outfit too. He probably needs a break from it. I was just thinking that earlier today. Remind me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
To take that off him. Oh, you got the piggy!
Right here, I'll fix it. Me too. Wait a minute, I'll fix it for you. You got it tore up again. You want me to fix it? She got the squeaky tore out of it again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was fixing it back for her. This will give me time.
Calm down, Atheners. Jeez, you're so impatient. Yeah, right. Come here, Bandit. I'll take off. He's like, are you just... Bandit knew what I was talking about. He wants his outfit off. Don't you? You're so smart.
Kill it.
You're so smart.
We'll kill it.
Fred is so attached to Bandit. It's hilarious. Like he's a little baby. You should see him cuddle him like a little baby at night. Because it feels like you're cuddling a baby when you cuddle him. He's like the same size as a baby. It's just, and he's just, I don't know what it is. It's just very comforting. Oh, wow, you're so cute and beautiful and amazing. Go play. Go play. Go play. Come on. Show everybody you can play. Yeah. Where's her? Didn't you make that rope thing for him?
I don't know where it went. I ain't seen it in a week. When I make one.
Yeah. They like that.
I've looked everywhere in here. It has to be at her room.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing? Kill the piggy. Kill the piggy.
He likes, yeah, shake, 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 shake. Or she. I always, Bandit, what are you doing?
You have it.
Yeah, Bandit will go hide for some reason sometimes. Like,
He scared that pig.
oh, Bandit's scared of the
He
pig.
scared that pig.
Oh, come here, Bandit. I'll hold. Mommy will save
He
you.
runs from it. Remember when I first fixed it for her?
Yeah.
She's like,
What? Do the trick. Yes.
show me teeth go hurt.
Come on, show your teeth. Show your teeth. Show your teeth.
You show your teeth.
She looks like a shark when she does
Usually
it.
she does it, but she's just wound up.
When she's on the spot, she won't. Look how beautiful she is. Come here, Bandit. Bandit, 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 Bandit.
I ain't playing to good with you. You said.
Come here, Bandit. Come here. I'll have to find a different toy if that scares.
Sit. Sit.
What other toys? At least this one here. You scared of? You scared?
Sit.
It's so fun watching him play with that thing. Hold on. Let me see if 1 second, guys. I'm going to go ask Caitlin. Okay. Sorry, guys. Dogs love to sleep with their owners just like they. Yeah. Yeah, there's. I was trying to find our little tug of war. Fred made one for them that they love, and they'll, play with. Come here, Bandit. He gets scared of that freaking pig. He goes and hides in whoa! Caitlin's room. All right, guys, I'm gonna go, but gonna go and oh, here's real quick. What? They discuss his pee? What? Oh my gosh. Here, I'm going to show you Boo Boo real quick. Boo Boo. Look at him walk like a little Miss Priss. But he's not Mr. Priss. All right, guys. I might be back. I'll talk to y'all later.